All right, let's go ahead and cover Chapter 17, Methods of Persuasion. So methods of persuasion include building credibility, using evidence, reasoning, and appealing to emotions. Credibility means a perception of a speaker's competence and character. Ethos is Aristotle's name for credibility, so they're basically synonymous terms. Types of credibility include initial, before the speech, derived, produced during the speech, and terminal, at the end of the speech. You want to enhance credibility by explaining competence, establishing common ground with your audience, and speaking expressively and with conviction. Logos is Aristotle's name for logical appeals, and it means evidence and reasoning. Evidence means supporting materials used to prove or disprove something. And tips for evidence mean use specific evidence, use novel evidence, use credible evidence, and make a clear point of using your evidence. Now, your reasoning means drawing a conclusion based on evidence, and types of reasoning mean specific instances, principal, causal, and analogical. Specific instances mean moving from particular facts to a general conclusion. My PE course last term was easy. My roommate's PE course was easy. My brother's PE course was easy. Therefore, PE courses are easy. Specific instances mean avoid hasty generalizations, qualify argument when necessary, and reinforce argument with statistics and testimony. Reasoning from principle means moving from general principle to specific conclusion. And reasoning from principle, major premise, all people are mortal. Minor premise, Socrates is a person. Conclusion, therefore, Socrates is mortal. Reasoning from principle means using major premise listeners will accept and providing evidence from minor premises. Causal reasoning means establishing relationship between causes and effects. Because that patch of ice was there, I fell and broke my arm. Causal reasoning also means avoiding the fallacy of the false cause and do not assume events have only one cause. Analogical reasoning means comparing two similar cases. What is true for the first case is also true for the second, and cases must be essentially alike. If you're good at tennis, you will probably be good at ping pong. Fallacies include the hasty generalization, false cause, invalid analogy, bandwagon, and red herring. There's ad hominem, either or, slippery slope, appeal to tradition, and appeal to novelty. Hasty generalization means jumping to conclusion based on insufficient evidence. Throughout American history, military leaders have always made excellent presidents. Look at the examples of George Washington, Andrew Jackson, and Dwight Eisenhower. False cause means mistakenly assuming that because one event follows another, the first event causes the second. When a team from the NFC wins the Super Bowl, economic growth during the next year is stronger than when a team from the AFC wins the Super Bowl. Therefore, if we want economic growth, we should root for a team for the NFC to win this year's Super Bowl. Invalid analogy means two cases being compared that are not essentially alike. Employees are like nails. Just as nails must be hit on the head to get them to work, so must employees. Bandwagon means because something is popular, it is good or correct. The governor must be correct in his approach to social policy. After all, the polls show that 60% of the people support him. Red herring means an irrelevant issue diverting attention from the actual subject. How dare my opponents accuse me of political corruption at a time when we are working to improve the quality of life for all people in the United States? An ad hominem means attacking a person rather than dealing with the real issue. The head of the Commerce Commission has a number of interesting economic proposals, but let's not forget that she comes from a very wealthy family. And either or means forcing a choice between two alternatives when more than two exist. The government must either raise taxes or eliminate services for the poor. Slippery slope means assuming the first step will lead to later steps that can't be prevented. Now that the TSA is allowed to use full body scanners and invasive pat-downs before letting us through security, it's only a matter of time before they strip search every man, woman, and child who wants to fly on a plane. Appeal to tradition means assuming something old is automatically better than something new. I don't see any reason to abolish the Electoral College. It has been around since the adoption of the U.S. Constitution in 1787, and we should keep it as long as the United States continues to exist. Appeal to novelty, assuming something new is automatically better than something old. Our church should adopt the 2011 New International Version of the Bible because it is 400 years newer than the King James Version. Emotional appeals mean appeals intended to evoke sadness, anger, happiness, and pride. Pathos is Aristotle's name for an emotional appeal. And appealing to emotions includes using emotional language, developing vivid examples, and speaking with sincerity and conviction. Ethical emotional appeals means making it appropriate to your topic and not substituting for evidence and reasoning. Okay, that concludes the end of this chapter.